Are relationships today more complicated than they've ever been? Whether it's with your partner, friends, family, or even co-workers, maintaining strong and meaningful connections can sometimes feel like an uphill battle. Misunderstandings, emotional highs and lows, arguments that seem to come out of nowhere, all of these can make it seem like true connection is harder than it should be. But what if I told you the key to building calmer, stronger, and more fulfilling relationships has been around for thousands of years? What if the answers we're looking for lie in ancient wisdom that's more relevant now than ever? Today, we're diving into the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophy to uncover practical ways you can improve your relationships in today's chaotic world. Let's dive right in. The emotional roller coaster of modern relationships. Think about the last argument you had with someone close to you. Maybe it was your partner, maybe a friend. What caused it? Often, it's something small that spirals out of control because emotions flare up. You both say things you don't mean, and before you know it, you're caught in a downward spiral of frustration, hurt, and regret. Now imagine if, in that moment, instead of reacting with anger or defensiveness, you could pause just for a second and choose a different response. How much unnecessary hurt could be avoided? The Stoics believed that true peace and true strength come from mastering your emotions. Marcus Aurelius, the famous Stoic emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And this is where the power of Stoicism lies. It's not about controlling others or avoiding difficult situations. It's about learning to control yourself, your reactions, your perspective, and ultimately, your peace of mind. Step 1. Master your reactions. In any relationship, emotional self-control is one of the most powerful tools you can develop. Let's break it down practically. When an argument begins, whether it's about something big or small, there's a moment where you feel the heat rising. You know that feeling, right? Your heart beats faster, your face gets warm, and you can feel your frustration building. Most of us are tempted to jump in, defend ourselves, or throw a verbal punch to protect our ego. But that's where things tend to go wrong. What the Stoics teach us is that we always have a choice in how we respond. The next time you feel that emotional rush, take a breath. Just pause. You don't need to say something immediately. You don't need to defend yourself or prove a point right away. Often, simply pausing can completely shift the tone of a conversation. Ask yourself, what good will this reaction bring? The Stoics would say that most of our emotional reactions are unnecessary. They cloud our judgment, make situations worse, and leave us feeling drained. Instead, train yourself to pause, reflect, and choose a more measured response. Step 2. The power of empathy. One of the cornerstones of Stoicism is empathy, understanding and seeing things from someone else's perspective. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic teachers, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In relationships, this is gold. Think about how many times arguments happen simply because we're not listening to each other. We're waiting for our turn to talk, thinking about how to defend ourselves or crafting our next comeback while the other person is still speaking. True listening, the kind where you're fully present and not just waiting to reply, can transform relationships. It's about stepping into the other person's shoes and trying to see the world from their perspective. What are they feeling right now? Why might they be upset? What's driving their emotions in this moment? Stoicism teaches us that the ability to empathize is what brings us closer to others. It's easy to get caught up in our own view of things, but by opening ourselves up to the emotions and experiences of those around us, we build stronger, more compassionate connections. So, next time you're in a conversation, especially one that's emotionally charged, try this. focus entirely on listening. Don't think about your response. Just listen. You'll be amazed at how much this can change the dynamic. Step 3. Control what you can and let go of the rest. This is perhaps one of the most famous and liberating principles of Stoicism. Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. In relationships, we often waste so much energy trying to control things that are entirely out of our hands. How the other person feels, what they think, how they behave. We think that if we say the right thing or do the right thing, we can change them. But the reality is we can't, and that's okay. The Stoics believed that the only thing we truly have control over is our own mind, our thoughts, our reactions, our choices. Everything else, other people's thoughts, emotions, actions, are outside our control. In your relationships, this can be incredibly freeing. Instead of focusing on what the other person is or isn't doing, focus on what you can do. How can you be more understanding? How can you handle a situation with more patience? By shifting the focus to what you can control, you free yourself from the frustration and stress that comes with trying to control others. And in doing so, you become a better partner, friend, and family member. You become someone who brings calmness and wisdom to the relationship instead of emotional chaos. Step 4. Obstacles are opportunities. No relationship is without challenges. Whether it's a disagreement, a rough patch, or a significant conflict, we all face obstacles. But the Stoics had an interesting way of looking at obstacles. They believed that obstacles weren't things to be avoided. They were opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What does that mean? It means that the very thing standing in your way is actually the path forward. In relationships, the arguments, the challenges, the difficult conversations, these aren't things to run from. They're opportunities to learn, grow, and become stronger together. The next time you face a challenge in a relationship, don't see it as a roadblock. See it as a chance to practice patience, understanding, and resilience. By shifting your mindset, you'll not only navigate the tough times more easily, but you'll come out on the other side with a stronger, deeper connection. Practical Stoic tips for better relationships. Now that we've covered some of the core Stoic principles, let's look at a few practical ways to apply them in your everyday relationships. Communicate clearly and calmly. When emotions are running high, it's easy to let things slip that you don't really mean. The Stoics teach us to remain calm and measured, even in the heat of the moment. Take a breath and think before you speak. Often, it's not what we say, but how we say it that matters most. Avoid jealousy and comparison. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing your relationship to others, especially in today's world of social media. But jealousy only leads to dissatisfaction and resentment. Stoicism teaches us to focus on gratitude and contentment. What are you grateful for in your relationship? Focus on that, and you'll find more peace and happiness. Practice patience. Relationships take time to build and nurture. Don't expect everything to be perfect right away. Be patient with yourself and with the people you care about. The Stoics valued long-term thinking over quick fixes, and this is especially important when it comes to relationships. Learn from past mistakes. Instead of dwelling on past arguments or mistakes, use them as learning opportunities. The Stoics believed that every challenge was a chance to grow. What can you learn from the past that will help you in the future? Take responsibility. The Stoics teach that we should focus on what we can control, ourselves. Instead of blaming others when things go wrong, take responsibility for your actions and your emotions. This mindset shift can transform your relationships. Turning Stoic philosophy into action. Applying Stoic philosophy to your relationships might take time, and it won't always be easy. But with practice, these principles can help you build stronger, more fulfilling connections with the people you care about. Remember, you can't control how others act, but you can always control how you respond. You can bring calmness, wisdom, and empathy into your relationships. And in doing so, you'll create deeper, more meaningful connections. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Stoic teachings and practical tips on how to live a more peaceful, fulfilling life. And I'd love to hear from you. How do you plan to apply Stoic principles in your relationships? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, remember, waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. See you in the next video.